Welcome, everyone. Hello and good afternoon. I am Joan Wells, President of Experience at Augeo. I'm honored to serve as the 2023 Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Overland Park Chamber of Commerce, and I'm excited to welcome you all today to this year's State of the City address. The Chamber exists to make Overland Park prosper, so that's why it's fitting that this event is one of our annual highlights. It celebrates the great accomplishments that we've seen in the past year, and we look forward to hearing about the exciting strategies that Mayor Skoog, the City Council, and the city professional staff have planned for the community in 2023. First, I would like to thank today's event presenting sponsor, St. Luke's Health System. St. Luke's partners with the Chamber every year on this event in recognition of their long-standing partnership with the City of Overland Park and the area's residents. Please join me in thanking St. Luke's. I would also want to recognize Gary O'Warney, Chad Stafford, Hunter Johnson, and Kathy Brown with Occidental Management for hosting us here this afternoon. It's great to be on the Aspiria campus, and a special thanks to our friends of the Arboretum and the Overland Park Arboretum and Botanical Gardens for the beautiful greenery you see on stage. And side note, there is a plant sale they're having this weekend if you are inspired to head out and buy any of these creations yourself. We're fortunate to have the continued support of our 2023 corporate partners and representatives from these companies that I'm going to list. Could you please wave so we can recognize you? Advent Health, Black & Veatch, Central Bank of the Midwest, HCA Midwest Health, which is Menorah Medical Center and Overland Park Regional Medical Center, St. Luke's Health System, T-Mobile, down in front. I'd also like to thank our 2023 corporate sponsors and representatives from these companies. Please wave as your company is announced. Affinis Corporation, yay. Empower, Evergy, FNBO First National Bank, Fulton Siefken, J.E. Dunn Construction Company, Johnson County Community College, Kansas Gas Service, McCowan Gordon Construction, the University of Kansas Edwards Campus. Wonderful, thank you all. We are, of course, honored to have so many elected officials in the room today. And I ask that all elected officials please stand to be recognized. I know you're here. Thank you for your public service and for joining us here today. Now to our program. It is my pleasure to introduce Overland Park Mayor Curt Skoog to present his 2023 State of the City address. Curt Skoog was elected mayor of Overland Park in November of 2021. Skoog was first elected to the City Council in 2005 and was re-elected in April 2009, 2013, and 2017. Skoog's focus has always been on the implementation of projects or policies and approval of projects that support strong neighborhoods and a vibrant economy, which are the bedrock of Overland Park. This focus is demonstrated by the passage of the Vision Metcalf, 95th and Antioch redevelopment, and the resurgence of downtown Overland Park. Mayor Skoog has been an active member in the community. He serves on the boards of the Mid-America Regional Council, the League of Kansas Municipalities, and the Bi-State Commission, of which he is the current chair. In addition, he has been an elected representative on the Shawnee Mission School District South Area Advisory Board, other leadership roles in the Shawnee Mission School District, and serving as a board member of the Kenilworth Homes Association. He is a graduate of Kansas Chambers Leadership Kansas, the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce Centurions Program, and the University of Kansas School of Business. Professionally, Skoog is a leader at the Institute of Building Technology and Safety. He and his wife, Amy, have 3 children and 4 grandchildren who either graduated from or will attend Shawnee Mission schools in the Shawnee Mission School District. Please help me welcome to the stage Mayor Curt Skoog.
Thank you, Joan. I gave her a mouthful of some of those things to say, so thank you. It's always interesting to watch to see where people sit in a stadium at a place like this. The back row seaters wave, back row wave out there, front row wave, all right. And then I love the University of Kansas's center middle, right there. You gotta love that. So well done, well done. It is great to be here at Aspiria in Overland Park with you today. We are fortunate to have such an impactful Chamber of Commerce in our community. Joan, Tracy, and the other Chamber team, thank you for your advocacy for our city and our community and our continued economic success. And of course, thank you for sponsoring this event. It provides a valuable connection between the city and the economic engine of the state of Kansas, which is Overland Park's business community. I look forward to working together on strategic initiatives that will make sure Overland Park remains a great place. And thank you to presenting sponsor St. Luke's Health System for making this event possible and providing the highest level of excellence in healthcare to our community. Oh, and by the way, for employing my wife for the last 25 years. How does the city achieve recognition for so many things? How does the city receive such high residential satisfaction scores? The answer is more than 1,000 hardworking city employees who care for this community every day. That includes police officers, firefighters, engineers, planners, park and recreation staff, maintenance workers, receptionists, and so many others. Without their dedication to our community, we would not be able to offer the many important and unique services that make Overland Park a great place to live, to work, and to play. And of course, I'm proud to have my family here in Overland Park and with me today. Amy, thank you for your support and patience. And your understanding of the long nights at City Hall, in the neighborhood meetings, and at just other events around the city. And thank you for attending many of them with me. We know it helps make our community a better place. And to my daughter Allison and son-in-law August, welcome back home. It's an amazing. If you were here last year, you may remember that I talked about this a little bit, but it's amazing to have them back in Overland Park with our 4 grandkids. So it's exciting. Thank you guys for being here today. With the community's hard work, we will continue to build a city that our children want to stay in and return to, and that newcomers will flock to fulfill their dreams. In a little while, we'll talk about some of the great challenges ahead of us: housing accessibility, infrastructure funding, and the future of work. Ensuring Overland Park's success in these areas is essential for our community to keep moving forward and to make sure it continues to be a top choice for the next generation. But first, let's celebrate the great successes of the last year. Roll the tape. A great year for our community citywide, starting in downtown Overland Park. The city's support for creating an updated place for today and tomorrow that includes new developments, walkable spaces, and public art. It has led to new recognition of our downtown. The Planning Association in Kansas recognized our downtown as a great place in Kansas. This award highlights long-term vision and guidance for development initiated by community-based planning.
Good morning.
Across the country, Others learned what we've known for years, that the Overland Park Farmers Market is the best in the nation, and shoppers gathered by the thousands each Saturday to celebrate. 2022 brought a variety of improvements at parks across the city, from updated basketball courts and playgrounds to a brand new trail. We gathered with neighbors for a grand celebration at Strang Park. The major renovation features 11 acres of green space, new restrooms, a shelter, games and courts, and the city's first inclusive playground. Major arts and events initiatives brought us together in 2022, including Parade of Hearts installations and the Star-Spangled Spectacular July 4th celebration. In September, tens of thousands came together in downtown Overland Park for 2 days of concerts, performances, dining, shopping, and more at the Fall Festival. Our work to tackle the devastating effects of the emerald ash borer continues. The city has started removing more than 2,400 street trees in areas already hardest hit by this invasive species. We'll be replanting one for every tree removed. In June, the city collected 11,000 cubic yards of storm debris after a tornado touched down along 95th Street. That's enough limbs, branches, and tree stumps to fill nearly 4 Olympic-sized swimming pools.
Thank you.
It was another year of supporting small businesses in Overland Park. The city distributed $2.74 million of American Rescue Plan Act funds to more than 100 Overland Park businesses.
Just having a little bit of cushion to know if something happens that we have some money to provide for us. Getting the grant was definitely such a blessing.
Many businesses may not have survived the pandemic without this important assistance. Together, with our partners at KDOT and the Chamber, we started work on US 69, increasing safety and traffic flow along this essential corridor. The Infrastructure Advisory Group, after months of listening, made its recommendations for the future of our city streets, stormwater, and traffic systems. Now, it's up to the community to address these needs. First steps towards the framework of OP's future. More than 400 people were part of the first round of public meetings for the comprehensive plan, sharing their priorities for the city's future and ideas for long-term success. More opportunities to get involved are coming. Today, the public has more access to information about its police department than ever, thanks to a library of online transparency-focused resources. The new Police Transparency page shares all the department's operating procedures and underscores high-profile topics like de-escalation, anti-bias policing, and officer training. Police officers have another tool in their toolkit when it comes to neighborhood safety, after the City Council adopted a nuisance party ordinance.
I am so excited to return home and to lead this organization and to be part of the Overland Park community again.
And finally, new leadership for city staff. After a nationwide search, I worked with the City Council to bring City Manager Lori Curtis Luther back home to Overland Park. Lori brings a proven track record of leadership and energy to move the organization forward. She is off to a great start. Within her first few months, the City Council adopted strategic goals to guide our work for the future. What a great first year of work, right? I'd like to take a second and just have Overland Park City Council members stand up, please. I know we did it already once, but none of this happens without a team. So, thank you guys. It's important to take time to reflect on the important work we do in our community and give credit to those who drove the success. in addition to the ones you saw just stand up. It's the engaged residents, the volunteers, the passionate business owners, the city staff, elected officials, and of course, our community partners at KDOT and at the Chamber. None of these would be possible without teamwork. So thank you for your work to improve our great city. Okay, enough about the past. Now it's time to lead Overland Park forward. There are great opportunities ahead of us in 2023 and 2024. We are just months away from the opening of the doors at the one-of-a-kind destination venue at the Arboretum. Longhouse at the Overland Park Arboretum and Botanical Garden is surrounded by stunning views of beautiful gardens, woodlands, and ponds. It's 21,000 square feet of modern, versatile space that will be an iconic front door to the Arboretum. In addition, it will host special and corporate events, weddings, educational programs, and so much more starting later this year. I'm proud to share for the first time here the branding for Longhouse. It incorporates the unique architecture of this building, honors the building's major donor, Janet Long, and includes subtle reminders that this important gathering space is set in nature. Longhouse is not just a visitor center. It's a key component of Forward OP, Come to Life. The community's vision calls for more gathering spaces, physical spaces, programs, and events for people. This facility will be a wonderful place for the community to come together. Last year, we set a new bar for meaningful community engagement with the Farmers Market Improvement Project. We developed a dynamic design for the future of the market and more. The gathering space and vision is based on feedback from a broad group of interested people. That included downtown merchants, neighbors, market shoppers, and vendors. Now, we are exploring questions from that initial phase. This special place has the opportunity to bloom into a year-round community destination for decades to come. I'm sure it will be a catalyst for the continued transformation the community called for in the Vision Metcalf plan. There are even more new spaces and faces coming to downtown, with so many new businesses opening soon. New flavors are coming to restaurants, and our favorite, a wine bar. There are new treats and to try, and even a modern take on a convenience store. There's also much needed a new child care facility, plus new places to shop and to do business. The Edison District keeps adding to the energy in downtown Overland Park. There are more opportunities to gather with the opening of the Strang Reserve. This space fills a much needed component to the mosaic of the downtown district. In the last year, many of you have made added similar gathering spaces to our community. Let's start with pickleball. Oh yeah, pickleball. After all, Overland Park has become a pickleball hub. We're recently named the most pickleball-obsessed city in the nation. Visit OP recently counted all of our courts. Do you know that we have 75 pickleball courts so far in Overland Park? I bet you there are more to come. And there's a new first-of-its-kind pickleball-focused destination. Serve at 91st and Metcalf is ready for the summer season. Serve has indoor and outdoor pickleball courts, shipping container kitchens, a performance stage, and a large screens for taking in major sporting events. It joins Chicken and Pickle in creating dynamic gathering spaces centered around this community's favorite sport. I'm looking forward to a summer of joining friends and family for a game. Now, right here at Aspiria, there are major strides towards creating a live, work, play environment with a strong emphasis on the word play. More community-focused experiences are coming, including an Andretti karting track, a 3-story fitness center, food truck events, and more. There will be 185 new apartments and places to enjoy nature, just steps away from co-working and corporate office spaces. This is something major employers like Hills Pet Nutrition and AirShare will take advantage of as they open their doors here at Aspiria. And the employees at T-Mobile, Charter Spectrum, and TraviPay will be able to continue to enjoy. These amenities position Aspiria and the city of Overland Park as a premier place for talented members of our workforce. All of these changes come with major sustainability upgrades. 100% renewable energy powers this zero energy campus. Occidental Management is taking the second largest corporate office space in America. Let me just emphasize that. Second largest corporate office space in America, and creating a community within a community. It is exciting to watch the new life that is coming to this area. Blue Hawk, it continues to grow in South Overland Park. Construction is underway on a 420,000 square foot sports park. It will focus on amateur and youth sports and bring community-oriented entertainment events to this part of the city. Keep an eye out for next year's Phase 1, which will bring an ice rink, basketball, volleyball, and an esports center. And of course, as if you didn't know, pickleball courts. There are just some of the highlights, many areas in the city where private investment is driving community improvement. Construction continues at City Place as WellSky builds its new space. Shamrock Trading Corporation is growing at 95th and Metcalf, and there's new life at 119th and Metcalf. And the final phase of Prairie Fire is bringing even more important amenities and services. The home builders continue to invest in Overland Park neighborhoods. Since last year's State of the City address, we've issued 283 new single-family home permits. I'll say that again. More than 280 single-family homes in our community in the last year. All of those together make up more than 1.6 million square feet of new single-family home living space across our city. And if we turn that into dollars, that's more than $104 million of value added to our neighborhoods. We expect to see more requests for single-family neighborhoods this year. We're going to talk about housing a little bit more in a minute, but many of you already know this. Single-family homes, in addition to our schools, our parks, our trails, and our other amenities, are good for bringing high-quality talent to all of our businesses. In the coming year, we'll continue to build upon our long-term relationship with our sister city, Bietigheim-Bissingen. How many people can say that? Bietigheim-Bissingen. That's why we call them BB for short. It's in Germany. It's our longtime sister city. I just hosted a delegation from the music school and the Obermeister Jorgen Kessing. He will arrive this summer with more music students. They are part of a 40-year student exchange with Shawnee Mission South High School. I have seen firsthand the impact this program has on Overland Park youth, where they have the opportunity to experience the broader world that we're in, as well as make lifetime friendships. The two cities have also exchanged growth and redevelopment experiences while we establish business relationships for the future. I can't wait to show Mayor Kessing, that's what Obermeister is, Mayor Kessing, the exciting things that are happening here in Overland Park. We're beginning on construction of a park for our great relationship with BB this summer, and I look forward to inviting all of you and the community and our friends for Germany when it opens in 2025. We're also working to make sure our community remains a safe place to live and to work by recruiting and retaining the best city staff. City Manager Lori Curtis Luther announced pay increases for Overland Park Police Department officers and firefighters. These intentional steps not only recognize our current public safety staff and their important work, but this will also help Overland Park remain competitive when we're recruiting new employees in a challenging hiring environment. Top of mind for us always is keeping city staff safe on the job. If you've driven down 75th Street lately, you may have noticed that the Marty Memorial Fire Station is no more. It's been knocked down. It was one of the oldest stations in the city. This building reached the end of its 50-year design life, and fire protection and employee health has changed a little bit since the 1970s, as you can imagine. The new fire station, number 41, is designed to facilitate modern decontamination procedures and cancer reduction measures for our firefighters. It will also better fit the size of today's modern fire trucks and keep the community safe. The new station will open in 2024 and will serve Northern Overland Park residents and businesses for generations to come. We're getting creative as well about recruiting other city positions. Our Parks and Recreation staff teamed up with the Shawnee Mission South High School students to learn how we could be more competitive in hiring next generation Overland Park lifeguards. We have to compete with Chick-fil-A. Their recommendations include addressing mental health concerns related to job responsibilities and provide more training for confidence building on the job. I look forward to watching these students grow and prosper as they become part of our team and hopefully your teams in the future. The city is intentionally taking steps to reduce the community's impact on the environment. From new solar panels on city buildings to the replacement of street light bulbs with LEDs, and then add new electric charging stations, which are coming to the farmstead and the Arboretum and the soccer complex, you have significant progress by the city. And just this month, the city's first sustainability manager, Laura, I saw you were here. Where are you? Wave your hand. You still here? There she is, right there. I waited till after your first week to embarrass you publicly. So she's setting into her work and making recommendations to ensure the city is focused on environmental, economic, and social longevity. There will also be a lineup of programs and events to help you reduce your footprint, including recycling events, curbside mattress collection, neighborhood cleanups, stream cleanups, and so much more. We have a great opportunity this summer to look to the future. The Infrastructure Advisory Group told us that to keep our older streets in good condition, the city needs to dedicate more resources and funding to our infrastructure. In June, you will have an opportunity to do just that. The city will hold a mail-in ballot election for a dedicated 3 8-cent sales tax. It would fund the maintenance fund maintenance of the city's aging infrastructure, and extend its useful life. We know from the citywide survey that we do that street maintenance and traffic flow are residents' highest priorities. This funding would provide the resources the city needs to do more street rehabilitation work with mill and overlay, asphalt, and concrete methods to keep Overland Park streets in good condition. This 3/8 cent sales tax would generate approximately $24 million per year for streets and traffic. So on a $100 purchase like a nice dinner for two, that's 37 cents that's dedicated to streets. If voters approve on June 22nd this funding, it can only be used for the purposes listed on the ballot. That's improving city streets and the traffic management system. And in case you didn't know, the city has had impeccable and a long track record of spending these funds solely on the identified purposes. One of the common threads we continue to see is great changes in our community, from changes in leadership to changes in our parks, to changes in the workplace and neighborhoods and beyond. Change brings opportunities. And yes, change brings challenges. There are great challenges ahead for our infrastructure and transportation methods, housing availability, and what the future of work looks like in our community. No elected official, business leader, or community leader can solve this on their own. That's why I sat down with some of Overland Park's brightest minds to discuss our great challenges and the changes that are ahead of us. I want you to hear their thoughts, and I look forward to talking with you at the reception tonight or in coming weeks about your thoughts on these topics. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today.
Welcome.
What we're going to talk about is a really important topic for Overland Park today and Overland Park tomorrow. So when you're working for one of your clients and you're looking for space, what is their driving factor? Is it cost per square foot, or is it the amenities that I need to make sure my employees are attracted and will come to work? How do they look at that?
Well, it's both, but the amenities and the attractiveness of a building have now become the number one focus.
Number one.
Quality of building, quality of environment around the building, proximity to amenities are huge issues. The age of buildings is a huge issue. The Class A buildings tend to be newer and have more attributes with them that make them attractive.
What is the biggest change about the office place of tomorrow from Cube World that some of us grew up in?
Most companies are looking at several things. It's mission and value-based space. It has to feel and evoke that feeling of the company. People want to work for companies that have mission and value statements and don't just talk it but walk it. I think the spaces have to be efficient. They have to be fun, safe. Technology has to be savvy in the workspace, allows them to work wherever they can in the office as well as from home. It has to be comfortable. It has to feel like a home. It has to feel the ability for you to kind of relax and let loose. It has to be collaborative. It has to be engaging.
As you interview young folks who are maybe just starting their career, if you are, what do they see as work and being connected into a community? What's important to them?
It's important to them to be really flexible. Their work lives interact with their social lives in a way that I think wasn't true in the past. So they're looking for flexibility in their hours and their working conditions, like where they go to work and they work at home, do they go to an office? But they also want to be in a city where they can walk to amenities, where they have housing choices, where they can afford to live and also have a very rich life in terms of entertainment and social engagement.
I assume that you're competing for talent. They could go to Nashville or Dallas or Chicago. When they choose Overland Park and WellSky, is there anything in particular that stands out?
Well, I think the company has to stand head and shoulders over other alternatives, and we work really hard that as just the company, our culture, what we do, how we win the other people that work there. But inevitably, someone we hire is connected to a family, a spouse, a significant other, and so it becomes a collaborative decision-making about, okay, if we move there, what are the repercussions of it, which almost always leads to, what's the city like? What is Overland Park like? Is it an inclusive place? Is it a place where my kids can go to great schools? Is it the sporting environment, the parks and such? And so I think we win a lot with Overland Park because it is a safe place.
Does the topic of housing come up with your employees very often, and what are their thoughts?
It does. It's a challenge, and I think a lot of this is a matter of your perspective. I mean, we struggle in Overland Park maybe to have high volume of affordable housing, especially for lower income individuals and families. But if you compare that against a national backdrop, Overland Park is still extremely affordable in terms of the quality of life that you can have and the affordability of this city. So I think a lot of this just depends on your perspective.
So what do you think the city of Overland Park and the community can do to support housing accessibility?
We know that every city has different issues and priorities when it comes to addressing housing. But I think it's safe to say that housing has become a priority across all our jurisdictions. And recognizing that we have a lot of different important infrastructure jobs, essential workers is what we call a lot of folks, right, during the pandemic that help keep our communities open. But are our housing solutions reflective of what all those different jobs might pay? And that's really what this is all about. And it really speaks to the sustainability and vitality of our communities.
Also just recognize that the unique nature of Overland Park, we have to be progressive. And so there are times, I think we're all guilty of loving our history and loving where we stood. And while it's a great history, it's a snapshot in time. And I do think we have to stay progressive about everything.
From a transportation point of view, what have you seen?
In addition to just how do people move throughout the community, it is changing. It's not just about cars, and it's about all modes and walkable communities, and making sure that people have the opportunity to use transit more effectively, have a chance to walk and bike where they want to go. Those are all things that I think have changed dramatically, especially over the last 20 years.
So as an aging community, we are no longer just building new streets. We really have to focus with intention on how we're rehabilitating and maintaining our existing roadways. The City of Overland Park created the dedicated sales tax to provide a funding stream to do that work, and that happened in 1998. And for the first time since then, we are looking at a way to increase that revenue stream so that we have the dollars needed to apply to our infrastructure.
I'm certainly hoping that there's a pathway to mass transit, better mass transit. I think we're like the 128th largest city in the US, right?
Yep.
And so I would love to see that as a priority as we go forward in the county and in this our largest city within the county, of recognizing that there are more folks who would like alternative transportation. I think we need to get away from thinking of it only as an alternative transportation by need. I think when I see successful transportation solutions in other communities, it's designed to be something I want to do. It's designed to be something that's of a convenience for visitors to the community, so that I don't have to be car dependent if I'm flying into this area. I think we've got to center on that a little bit more, but hopefully as we are mindful of our transportation needs, that can be part of the mix.
Is it attractive to employers and then their employees to be in a work, play, live situation like we see in downtown Overland Park? Imagine any of our suburban office spaces. If we converted part of that parking lot into a mixed-use building that builds a place. Is that attractive to the tenants of today and tomorrow?
Absolutely. The closer we can get to that, the more attractive our real estate opportunities, not only office, but retail and hotel and all of that will be for real estate investment and for tenants.
So it's interesting as we look at new residential developments in 2023 as compared to our past. And people really want to have walkable communities. They want to have close access to a variety of things. And it's almost as if we're looking at mini downtowns in a variety of areas throughout the city.
So we have College Boulevard, which is primarily made up of office buildings built in the 1980s and 1990s.
Yep.
Is there a future for those buildings?
There has to be. Yeah, I look on the boulevard and you start thinking about if you're a company that's looking for a flight to quality and space that's dynamic, that's efficient, that's fun, that's enjoyable, all those other things I talked about. Walking into a room that has cubicles and a 9-foot drop ceiling with parabolic lights in it is really not fitting the bill of where it needs to be. So yes, there is cost encumbered to retrofit those spaces to make them dynamic and cool and marketable.
We had seen the cube farm world. I grew up in the cube farm world, and that just doesn't cut it any longer. And it's easy to say, let's build environments with collaborative space. That's not terribly hard, but I think the way we think about it is agile spaces that you can change a lot as the demand and the change in our company morphs, and we've been acquisitive. So we have to have room to expand and move workforce kind of around even a singular building. But we also have taken huge advantage of other amenities, not only around our building, outdoor spaces, meeting spaces where we can get together and build a culture and communicate with each other. But we also want to be near like the city and the municipalities' amenities. And some of those are easy to think about just in terms of sports and entertainment. But it is also important to think about childcare, schools, for sure.
You know, I'd like to make sure that we're a community that's welcoming for all, because it's really, we know from our data that the diversity of Johnson County and Overland Park will only continue to grow. So once again, if we want to be a successful, vibrant community, I think we have to have our mind out to the long run, right? And what our future community is going to look like, and what we are doing today to make sure we're ready for that in a sustainable, vibrant, welcoming way, so that 50 years from now, we have someone else sitting in these chairs talking about how great Overland Park is.
Overland Park offers the ability to offer a strong economy in terms of the jobs, offer a great place to live, and an amazing education for your kids. It's a unique combination.
It's a home run.
Yeah, it is.
I want to thank my guests for sharing their experiences with us, and to the city staff for putting these videos and all of this you've seen up here together. So thank you guys. But more than anything, it's clear from these discussions and others I've had with many of you in the community that Overland Park's great challenges are nothing compared in the face of the great successes we've already had. So thank you in advance for your support in moving Overland Park forward. To move Overland Park forward, it's going to take all of us working together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And I look forward to hearing from you moving forward. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor, for this report on the state of the city. We share so many priorities, and we're proud to be your partner in creating quality jobs and making Overland Park a top destination for businesses, families, and talent. This is an exciting time to be in Overland Park. We are fortunate to live and work in a community with a team of strategic, visionary leaders like you, Mayor, our City Council, and our city professional staff. We appreciate that you all go above and beyond to make Overland Park the great city that it is today. It takes intentional leadership to manage both the day-to-day priorities and balance that with the strategic focus on the big picture issues that are crucial for our quality of life and our economy for the next 30 years. Thank you for your passion, commitment, and dedication to our community. Before we adjourn, I want to emphasize one of the points that the mayor made, and that's the importance of our upcoming election to renew our transportation sales tax. This decision occurs only once every 10 years, and your chamber board has endorsed the city council's plan to increase that sales tax to 3/8 of a cent. This is an increase of 3 cents on your average lunch, a quarter on a $100 dinner for two, or say $2.50 on the $1,000 laptop I'm planning to buy. So that's not much to fund improvements and maintenance of our comprehensive infrastructure in our great city. If you live in the city of Overland Park, you'll receive your mail-in ballot in early June. If you would like to vote but you are not registered, then June 1st is your deadline to do that. Watch your inbox for more information about this critical election. Finally, a special thanks again to our presenting event sponsor, St. Luke's Health System. Thanks to Occidental Management for hosting us here today. Your partnership is really greatly appreciated. Thank you again to our corporate partners, our corporate sponsors for their support of the Chamber. Thank you all for joining us today and for everything that you do to make Overland Park prosper. So now, please join us in the lobby for some food and drink. You can go out either exit, go down a level, and enjoy the reception. It's beautiful outside, so you can spill outside and inside. So we are adjourned with that. Thank you.